you would have pled guilty. But first you have to plead guilty saying, I did this. I stole this money from people who were willing to accept my check. So if you're not willing to do that, and don't do it if you didn't commit the crime. I'm not encouraging you to do that. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Did you commit the crime?
Okay,
Santana Diaz, case 26CR43363. Ms. Santana Diaz is present with her attorney, Nate Elter. The state is represented by Teresa Hyatt. We're here for a hearing on treatment in lieu of conviction. The report says she's denying she committed the offense. It's kind of a game stopper as far as ILC. Anything you want to say on that, Mr. Elter?
Your Honor, I was just in the hallway. We were having a conversation about the issues that were prevalent, and I think she has a better understanding of ILC now. We did cover the plea form, and she did sign it. She's actually doing pretty well. She indicated that she's willing to engage in the treatment probation has provided. I think one of the things probation is looking for is a mental health assessment. I told her that would be important for her to do. So I think she understands more clearly now what ILC actually is.
Okay, anything from the state?
As far as the ILC, Your Honor, I mean,
Yes.
granting it, I mean, she does appear to be eligible for ILC in this case. I do know that when we had the pretrial, there was never any indication from this defendant that she was denying that she did this crime. In fact, she was offering to pay not only her part of the restitution, but also her daughter's part of the restitution. So this is kind of, I was surprised when I read that in the ILC report, but she does have 3 days of jail time credit. We are asking for the $1,740 that she owes for her portion of for the check that she passed, as well as a no contact order with the victim, which is Mariposa Supermercado in Mason. It's a
Okay.
supermarket.
Does she have the restitution?
She's actually she is going to pay restitution. She just got paid last Friday for her check, and she was going to bring it in through probation.
Okay. Ma'am, is there anything you want to say about that before we proceed? Here's the thing. This is not a situation where you play games. If you did this, then fine, you did it. Is it really connected to trauma-related stress disorder? Well, that's questionable, but, give you the benefit of the doubt. If you don't complete it, then fine. But you would have pled guilty. But first you have to plead guilty saying, I did this. I stole this money from people who were willing to accept my check. So if you're not willing to do that, and don't do it if you didn't commit the crime. I'm not encouraging you to do that. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Did you commit the crime?
okay. So I'm working for Sammy Burger for a couple months, like 5 or 6 months. So he don't pay me 2 times, and he told me that he have a trouble with the bank. So that day, so I'm quick to him. He tell me, so I tell them, so I can go to the police and tell me that you can pay me my hours. And he called me, hey, coming for your check. I said, okay. So I go for my check, and I go to change the check. When the lady called me and tell me what's going on with the check, I call Sammy, and I tell him. He told me, oh, I called for a check, so what's going on with the check? So I don't know what's going on, so I don't know that he called the store to talk about the check. So, but I don't stole that check, so he bring me the check, pay me for my work hours.
Okay, here's what this says. He spoke with the store owner, and she stated on 12/23/25, 2 checks were cashed at her store, the Supermercado. A suspect, Sammy Blanco, sent cashed a check for $1,660, and another, you, cashed a check for $1,740. They both provided their Ohio driver's license in order to cash the checks pursuant to store policy. The checks were allegedly from Sammy Burger Restaurant, and both suspects wrote their phone numbers on the back of the checks. Ms. Alvarez reported that she was the person who cashed the checks in the store and confirmed their identities based on their BMV images. The officer spoke with Sammy Burger Restaurant, Edgar Bautista, and he indicated he had 9 checks stolen from the company checkbook. Mr. Bautista, he also contacted Andrea's Grocery and was informed that 2 females cashed 3 checks at their store that had bounced. The officer called the number written on one of the checks and spoke with Santana Diaz. Upon questioning, she reported her purse and ID were stolen 5 to 6 months prior. Additionally, when asked, she stated that Miss Blanco Santana was her 15-year-old daughter. However, according to her driver's license, Miss Blanco Santana is 19 years old. So, if you're saying, we can get Mr. Berger in here, if you're saying that he paid you for working and you cashed a check unknowing or not knowing it was a bad check, then you can have a trial on that. And there can be a determination made as to whether or not you're guilty of this offense. If you get ILC, you're pleading guilty. I'll tell you, the outcome is not going to be much different. If you're not guilty, then you'll walk out of here, no problem. But ILC and being convicted of a theft offense, the only difference is basically your record. You'll have a record for this for 3 years, I think, is what it takes to get that expunged. If you get ILC, it gets dismissed after you complete treatment. But if you didn't do this, let's not play games here. Let's have a trial on it.
Yeah, I can do that. I can take anything. So he bring me the check. So.
Your Honor, I think what I'd like to do is have time to confer with her, and we could withdraw that plea.
Well, talk to her in the hallway.
That's
Yeah.
what I was saying.
Okay.
Two important things. One, she's accepting full responsibility, and she hopes that she'll be given ILC. She also understands that she's got a severe marijuana use disorder, and she needs to stop cold turkey to be successful. She may have had a positive screen today, but she understands that if you grant ILC, she's going to have declining to zero out THC readings, and she will never get, while she's on ILC, a medical marijuana card. But to the first thing, she's accepting full responsibility.
Okay. I appreciate that. I just want to hear it from her. Ma'am, I want to make sure you understand this, because is it your mom that was in here earlier? Okay, she was here. She was kind of denying this too, and I had, some questions because it sounded like somebody wrote a check and you tried to cash this check at this place, and it was stolen or forged, I believe.
All of it.
What's the prosecutor's allegation in the case?
Your Honor, in this particular case, the defendant's back on, get to the date. They went back on December 23rd of last year. They both went to this Mariposa Supermercado Market in Mason, and they had 2 checks written from Sammy's Management Group or Sammy's Burger Restaurant, which is in Blue Ash. One check was the co-defendant cashed for $1,740. This defendant cashed the check for $1,660. It was made out to them. They provided driver's license that the owner and clerk confirmed that was who was in fact cashing the checks.
Who cashes checks like that? Who cashes checks like that?
Kroger's. I'm going to tell you, I know Kroger's cashes checks, Walmart cashes checks.
Do not
apparently.
protect the check cashers,
Okay,
Judge.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hyatt, go
But
ahead.
anyhow, so that's what happened. So you have a check that was stolen from this restaurant group. It was forged by being made out into these people's names, and then they were able to cash it at this particular location.
Okay, Miss, is it Blanco Santana or just Santana?
Santana.
Miss Santana. The state has to prove the case against you. They have to bring in witnesses and prove the charges against you. Now, your attorney's had an opportunity to review this case. He seems to be convinced that you're accepting responsibility, and he's been doing this a long time. But I want to make sure you understand, you're entitled to have a trial, and it has to be a unanimous verdict if it's a jury trial, or if it's just a trial to the judge. The state has to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, not just more likely than not. You have a right to confront every witness who testifies against you in the case. That means your attorney can challenge those witnesses by asking questions or bringing out things that might be favorable to you or things that are missing in the evidence. You have a right to have witnesses ordered to appear and testify at your request. And you have the right against self-incrimination. That means that you don't have to prove anything in the case. You don't have to offer evidence, and you don't have to testify. If you choose not to testify, I assure you it won't be held against you. And if it's a jury trial, I would instruct the jury they couldn't discuss the fact that you had not testified, and they could not consider the fact that you had not testified. And if it's a trial to me, I won't consider the fact that you had not testified. Those are your rights in the case. And if you admit this, if you plead guilty, you're admitting you committed this offense. So that's what I want you to know. Now, I sentence you to 12 months on each of those 3 charges, probably all be concurrent. So you'd probably be looking at a maximum of 12 months. I guess arguably you could be looking at more, but I think these cases all would merge or would just be run concurrent. So that's the status of the situation. You do what you feel is right in the case. Don't plead guilty if you're not guilty, but if you did this, then this is an opportunity for you at least to avoid a conviction if you fully comply with the ILC part of it. So how do you want to proceed? You want some time to think about it? Talk to your attorney more?
What?
I think we cannot get it because I do have somebody who can come and testify.
This is off the record, what they're saying.
Could we have a couple of minutes?
Sure, go ahead.
This courtroom hearing focused on Luana Santana Diaz, a defendant seeking intervention in lieu of conviction, ILC, after being charged in a check fraud case involving stolen restaurant checks. What made the hearing unusual was that the court was not simply deciding whether she qualified for treatment instead of conviction. The real issue was whether Diaz was actually willing to admit she committed the crime at all. The judge repeatedly stopped the hearing to make one thing crystal clear. ILC is not a way to take the deal while still claiming innocence. If Diaz wanted the benefit of treatment in place of conviction, she first had to stand in court and say, plainly and honestly, that she cashed a check she knew she should not have cashed. By the end of the hearing, after several confusing explanations and a lot of pressure from the judge, Diaz finally appeared ready to accept responsibility so she could pursue treatment and avoid a felony conviction. The hearing began in Warren County, Ohio, with Diaz present alongside her.